everyone, welcome back to Amy Answers series Q&A number 8. And the first question is from Susie. Do you wear your Emily wallet just inside your bags? Mine is just 1 month old and somehow cracked. I am very careful. I do just wear my Emily wallets inside my bags. Usually I try to put it inside a different pocket, or I try to protect it as much as possible. The cracking issue, which is something that I'm more and more aware of lately, because you guys, either private message me or tell me in my comments below that you have been experiencing problems. And you know what, it breaks my heart every time I hear something bad like this happen. And when you ask me to go check it, obviously, I find little things on mine too, and I don't necessarily notice it sometimes. So for the Emily wallet, yes, the crack is I asked my SA and they said that it's inevitable because that's just how the design is, and because it wasn't peeling off or lifting off, they said that's just normal wear and tear. So I would have wished that they just either agreed that the quality was subpar, or maybe that they agreed on fixing it since it was within a year. But they said that that's normal wear and tear, which, you know what, I'm gonna take it. And I see the same crack on my key. However, I did have my key a lot longer, and also my key has been not as well protected as my wallet. My key, which is the 6 key holder, I did buy in 2013. So is the quality of the glazing, like the actual glazing material, gotten worse now, or that's up to debate. And I know a lot of people say that it is worse nowadays, which I would probably have to agree because of my story that I will be sharing later. I know you already went to ask your boutique and they said the same thing, normal wear and tear, and we'll just have to watch for with more use whether it will actually start peeling or just stay the same. I'm hoping that it will just stay the same, especially for our wallet. It's something that we use every day. Ross Rose, thanks for answering my question. I love your videos and look forward to them every week. I have a question for your next Q&A. What are your thoughts of buying the same bag but in different prints? I have seen your handbag collection and I love that it's so diverse. How do you stop yourself from temptation of buying the same bag in different prints? This is so hard for me to do, even though I wish I could. So even though in reality I would have loved to own a lot more bags than I have, and also in different prints for those that are available, I kind of stopped myself from doing that. I think it's a personality thing. The way that my brain works is, if I go crazy for a while and I start, buying a few bags within the span of a few months, which did happen to me last year, or even if I went on a shopping spree, like buying lots of clothes for a while, after that period, and then one day I'll just sit down and look at my bill or look at my pile of receipts, and I would be like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? I also tabulate. I actually do tabulate all the so on my Visa statement, I always tabulate what my receipts are with I cross-reference them just to make sure that there's no error and all that. So at the same time, I see how much I spent within that month or that period of time, and I usually feel guilty if I have spent too much for a while, and that's when I kind of stop spending for a while. That's just my personality. I think in the end, I need to feel like a security cushion. I don't want to overspend and not have enough for what I might need to buy in the next few while, either in terms of supplements or I don't know, emergency repair for your car and things like that. So I'm a little bit cautious that way, so that kind of helps me. As far as my thoughts, I think it's okay to own the same bag in different prints. By all means do it if it makes you happy, just as long as you don't overspend and you know, get in debt for that. You know, that would be kind of crazy. But you know, if you can afford it, go for it. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit indulgent. Next question, Bang G. Hi Amy, hooray for 3K, thank you. I sold my Neverfull, but seeing the pouch made me consider getting the new one. I was wondering if it will fit inside the Speedy B25. I want to make sure that it will have more use for it so I can justify the price. And she is referring to the Neverfull. Oh yes, I already mentioned that. So yes, it actually does fit inside my Speedy B25. And I have the pouch for the Neverfull MM. So the pouch for the MM Neverfull and the GM Neverfull are the same size. But what you have to do though is make sure that when you insert inside your Speedy 25 that it is empty. So because now it is empty, you see how I can sag the bag, the bottom, so that when you put it in, you can sort of wiggle it inside. And it fits perfectly. You know, lengthwise it fits inside perfectly. Sun Soth, have you noticed any issues with your mood scalp? I purchased mine 3 months ago and I'm noticing that the glazing on the edges is peeling. It started at one spot and now it is spreading. So I haven't noticed anything on my Zippy Mid scalp, but since it happened to you within 3 months of use, definitely bring it back and hopefully they'll be able to help you fix it without charge, which they normally should because it's only been 3 months of use. You know, with any pieces that require glazing, like I mentioned before, always watch when the glazing is you know, about to come off, or if it's like about to peel or anything, because you definitely want to get it fixed as soon as possible. And I do want to say that it is something that apparently LV considers as normal wear and tear. I know it sucks because, you know, if it happened within maybe 3 years or 5 years, or even within like a year and a half, that's a little bit more sort of acceptable as wear and tear, you know what I mean? Because like we are all different and then everyone uses their pieces differently, and you know, like wear and tear is inevitable because even if you buy leather, they will have wear and tear. Yes, we all understand that. But if it happens, in my opinion, if it happens that quickly, you know, within the year, or even if it's just within a time period that is longer than a year but only with a certain number of wears, say like 5 times, say if you just wore your things 5 or 10 times or whatever, then it shouldn't break as easily, you know what I mean? So like I would definitely bring it back. Meg G, another great video. My question for next week, I am contemplating my next LV bag purchase and narrowed down to Speedy B30 in damier ebene or Neverfull GM in Monogram. These bags are obviously going to serve different purposes. Currently, I have a Speedy B mono in the 30 size and the Pochette Metis in my LV collection. For work, I use the Tory Burch Perry tote in all black leather. The Neverfull would replace my Perry tote and Speedy B would be my all-weather bag since I live in Colorado. Since I'm afraid of exposing the Pochette Metis to rain or snow. What do you think? Sorry for the lengthy explanation. In my opinion, I would choose the Monogram Neverfull in the GM size for you because I don't like having duplicates. So like, I know I said that, you know, if I could or if I would to choose, you know, the Speedy B again, I would get it in the other print, in the Monogram print, because I love it so much. But I think in the end, like, I don't know, I feel like if I had 2 of them, I would probably like be biased towards one of them and then end up using one more than the other. So that's just how I feel. So since you don't have a Neverfull already, I would still pick the Neverfull. Mind you, you did say that you live in Colorado and you're afraid of exposing the Vachetta to rain or snow often. It is something that you would probably need to watch out a little bit at the beginning, at least. Just make sure if you decide to get the Monogram Neverfull in GM size, to let the bag have some sort of patina before using it in the rain or snow. Like I mentioned before, I do sort of try to expose my bag at home without any dust bag. Just let it store that way for a while, and it will develop a little bit of patina even if you don't see it. But the way you can maybe tell is that the leather starts developing a little bit of a sheen, and at that point, that's when it will be more resilient to snow or water stains. And you know what, even if you do get water stains or snow on it, which I'm sure will happen over time, it is still just a smaller amount of leather, if that makes sense. And I think it does add a bit of character. I like Vachetta just because I think that it is so buttery soft, and with more use it only gets more soft, and the vintage look really does appeal to me. Ben Laurie, hi Amy, what do you think about the Gucci Disco bag, and pros and cons? I love the fact that it is all leather except the interior, which is canvas. I love that it is really roomy even though it appears small as a bag. I love that because it's all leather, especially the strap, it will be like really comfortable all right off the bat. And it's Gucci, so what's not to love? The cons, I would say maybe the opening, the zipper. I've tested a few of them and some of them are a little bit harder to zip, although that can probably be easily solved if you run a little bit of wax on it. But because of the camera shape, like the camera bag shape, so when you open it, the bag, you kind of have to like bend the zippers inwards a little bit to put things in it or to reach things from it. So that's probably one con, not quite a huge one. And then I suppose you would have to be a little bit more careful with taking things out, just because if you have, you know, glazing to contend with, you know, you gotta be careful not to scratch it too much. They're not very expensive for an all leather bag, which is great. I think in Canada they retail around $1,100 plus tax, which, you know, is very reasonable for an all leather bag, and they're beautiful. And even though the interior is canvas, which I actually like better, whether they retain their value, it's not as great. And just go on eBay and type, you know, Gucci Disco bag, and then go in the advanced setting, and then click on the completed in the sold listings. You will see how much they were sold for, and a lot of them are actually sold for under the price that it is worth right now. So that's definitely one con. But if you're just looking for a great all leather bag to use on a daily basis when you want to downsize, I think it's a fantastic bag. In the end, like I said before, you gotta also buy your bags because you love using it and it serves a purpose, the purpose of practicality, comfort, and just, you know, style. And if you're gonna keep that bag forever anyway, it doesn't matter if it will go, if you can't resell it at, you know, the same price, just because you're just gonna be using it anyway and you're gonna keep it forever anyways. Jeanette Cam, hi Amy, I wanted to know your input for your bag organizer. I watched a video on it, but I'm still undecided. Is it really useful? Would you say it is worth purchasing one for organization? Thank you so much. I love watching your videos. Keeping it up. Okay. Yes, the organizer, which I have mine for the size Speedy 25. For sure it's useful because, I mean, look at those compartments, and then if you look at inside your Speedy, or when you start using your Speedy without any organizer inside, things just get all mixed up and pretty frustrating at times. So definitely with something like this, it's very, very useful, especially for smaller items. With smaller items, you're able to organize them a little bit better. You know, you've got like a larger slip pocket here, you've got smaller slip pockets here and there. So for smaller items, it is definitely a lot easier to reach and to know where they are from. Only drawback is every time you take out something, you have to, you know, try to put it back in the same slot or in one of these slots at least, so that you can have the you know, ease of access again when you need them. And also depending on which bag you're gonna get it for. So like in my case, I got it for the Speedy B25 with the bottle holders, which is great. But sometimes I do wish that I have maybe like just a big space in between, just because sometimes if I wanted to take things that are, you know, a little bit bigger, bulkier, or longer, I don't want to have these two things to like get in the way, even though I know I can shove them, you know, on the side. But sometimes, you know, you just want to put it back in your bag and then they just kind of get in the way. So I do wish that sometimes I have the option to remove maybe compartments in the middle, but otherwise I still highly recommend the Samorga organizer. I know there's another company called Clover Sack, and I will also be reviewing their products on my channel soon. I ordered one for my Neverfull, but I haven't gotten it yet, so stay tuned. Sin Carbok, do you own any LV Hobo bags? If not, which ones would you purchase and why? So when I think of Hobo bags, I think of slouchy, I think of shoulder wear or crossbody wear. And I personally prefer a leather material for Hobo bags. It's just my preference, because I think leather softens up really beautifully over time. Even with epi leather, I think it softens up really beautifully. And so that's my personal preference. So if I were to choose one from LV, it would definitely be the Bagatelle or the Epi No Way. And off topic, not LV related, I really actually like the Soho leather Hobo bag from Gucci. Actually, I think the style of Hobo that I would go for would kind of resemble the one from Gucci, and I like the fact that it's all leather and the price is really reasonable. Elaine D'Souza, hey Amy, good video. I wanted to know, would you suggest a Chanel boy bag or the LV Bagatelle and the LV twist chain wallet? Can you please help me with your opinion? So I think the reason why you're asking me to choose either the boy or the two LV bags is because the two ones combined, the price is kind of like the boy bag price, and I totally get you. It boils down to, if you don't get the boy bag, are you gonna like keep lusting over it and still want to get it one day anyway? Because if that's how you feel, then you should just try to get your boy bag. Because, you know, I love those LV bags that you mentioned. They're like gorgeous, and as I mentioned just earlier, and you get two bags for the price of one. But as I said, if you're gonna always have that same sort of feeling or regret or remorse that you should have gotten the boy or still wish you had a boy, then just go for the boy first, because LV bags are always going to be around, or at least they will be around for a little longer, and easier to buy, if that makes sense, whereas boy bags, they tend to be hard to get. Andrea Castillo, love your Alma, I just bought one, but my clochette will not fall down as yours. Did you do anything to it, or did it soften over time? I'm pretty sure it will soften over time. It is epi leather, so epi leather is known to be a little bit more stiffer and very durable. So just kind of, you know, you can play around with it sometimes, you know, kind of twist it a little bit and try to just like pull it down a little bit, but it will fall over time. Mine doesn't actually even fall all the time. Sometimes it sticks out even though when I'm wearing it. It doesn't bother me per se. When I see it, I make it fall down again, and if it just sticks up when I'm not looking at it, then so be it. B Rod, great video, very informative. I am thinking of getting my first LV bag in between the Neverfull MM in mono, red interior, or the damier, or the Papillon in mono. I'm so indecisive. Please help. Obviously, the two styles are very different between the Neverfull and the Papillon. I guess, which one are you more in love with? Are you mentioning the Papillon because you just like really love that bag? Because I know it was a very hot item before, but I haven't really seen anybody wear it. So if you're, I guess I would be worried about how timeless or how should I say, even how practical it is for that bag, just because it is really cute. It's basically a cylinder shape with 2 shoulder straps. So in terms of practicality, you know, I know you can put things in it, but to me it's more like a cute item, maybe more like a history sort of heritage item or design, but maybe not the most practical bag in my opinion. So if I were you, and that's just my personal opinion, of course, I would go with the Neverfull. I think the Neverfull is such a well-rounded bag. It has become one of their #1 seller for a very good reason, because it is really practical. And even though I was worried about how open the bag was at first and resisted buying it for such a long time, I'm glad that I caved in and bought it, because it has become my top 5 LV. Like I mentioned before, it is not my everyday bag because I tend to like to downsize a lot and I wear a lot of smaller crossbody bags, but I still feel like that would be a better investment, if that makes sense. And also a more practical bag. So for those 2 reasons, I would go with the Neverfull. And in terms of mono or damier, it's really hard because it's hard for me to decide for someone else. But I love the monogram print, and I love Vachetta when they become patinaed and when they are well used after a while. You know, you still take care of your items, but after they become well used, I think the vintage look of the 2 combination, the patina and the monogram, just looks so divine to me. So I would pick that one. Handbag lover. Fun vlog, what do you think of the Chanel bag? I was quite pleased with my visit. Actually, I had a lovely essay who was at least I didn't feel too intimidated getting in, and maybe because they weren't busy that time that I went in. As I mentioned before, I did purchase a limited edition caviar reissue a while ago. You know, it was back in 2010, and I did buy and sell it very quickly because at the time I felt like it was too small for my needs, and I think because I went in without any research and just bought it anyway, because I just fell in love with the look, but with the chain digging in me, and then the caviar was kind of heavy, like a heavier leather, plus the buyer's remorse of spending so much money on a handbag. So at the time I felt pretty guilty and had sold it right away. But this time around, I'm actually happy that I got to try both styles of classic flaps, and I still prefer the reissue again. However, I did not know at the time that the reissue actually came in distressed calf skin. That's what their classic looking reissue is supposed to be made of, and I actually really do prefer that over the caviar for this particular bag, because not only does it make it a lot lighter, I actually don't mind that it's less structured, because the reissues are usually they're flattened for a good reason. It's for storage reason. For people who travel, they can just store that in their luggage, and also the distressed calf skin just allows you to do that, which is a great thing. Now with the classic flaps, I find the chains to be a little bit awkward, because even though I'm quite petite, I find that even with the medium large, wearing it crossbody was just a little too high, and I didn't really like that. And plus the size was really small, like really small inside in the interior, so like I just didn't like that. And I wouldn't go as far as getting the jumbo, just because it would become too heavy again for me, and then the bag was also looking a little bit too large on my body frame. Kind of really taken aback by all the increases so far, and just how expensive it is. So not to say that I don't think it's worth it for me, like I still would want to get a reissue down the line. I just don't know if I'll get it retail at this point, and more research is definitely needed, and more reading on forums and just probably go back a few more times to try a few more different designs. Similar question, Little Swallow 16. Like you, I'm also considering buying a Chanel Classic flap at some point since it has been my dream bag forever, but I'm torn between the medium large or the jumbo. Which size are you leaning towards, and how did your experience at Chanel end up turning out? So between the medium large or the jumbo, so as I said, I find the medium large to be really small. I think the actual size of the bag when you wear it actually looks fine, especially when you just wear it on the as a shoulder bag. But the interior is very constricting. I can't even fit that much in it. And even though I can fit, you know, my essentials that I normally take with me inside, I just don't like to have to like play around with the space so much. So if I were you, I would definitely get the jumbo, especially if you don't mind the jumbo being a little bit heavier. So just a little update with my Pochette Metis. I did bring it in for LV to investigate the glazing lifting already, where the hardware of the strap is rubbing against. I don't have the bag with me right now to show you because it is at LV. So technically I got it fixed once already. I got it fixed back in September, October last year, and between then and now it's only been less than 6 months. And I did notice those rubbing, well, the lifting of the glazing. I think I noticed that probably around the time when you guys asked me to review my my bag comparison. They said basically the company doesn't consider that as a quality issue, which I told you earlier I disagree. Definitely gonna make a video about this to just, you know, sort of warn you guys if you decide to buy the bag, or also just to let you guys know to keep a watch out for the glazing issue, definitely. So that's probably gonna be in the next couple weeks coming up, and yeah, that's it. I just wanted to touch up on that, and hopefully you guys found this Q&A helpful. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Amy, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye. I'm going on vacation in June and I need a new crossbody. Which one would you get out of the three? Pochette Metis, Twin Set, or the Speedy B25?